When I saw my girlfriend checking into a couple's resort with my business partner, my heart skipped a beat, because she had told me she was going to her sister's house. I didn't question her at that moment. I simply forwarded the hotel confirmation to our friends group chat. 2 days later, she was standing at my door, crying, and she was holding something in her hands. My name is Andrew, I'm 32, and I run a mid-sized construction management firm in Denver. Nothing glamorous. We coordinate subcontractors, handle permits, manage timelines. The money's good, the stress is constant, and the hours are long. But I built it from the ground up over 6 years, and I was proud of it. I'd been with Lindsay for 3 years. We met at a charity auction where I'd bought a weekend ski pass I never used, and she'd outbid everyone for a cooking class she never attended. We laughed about our wasteful spending over drinks that night, and somehow, we just clicked. She was a marketing director at a tech startup, sharp, funny, beautiful in that effortless way that made other women either admire or hate her. We'd talked about moving in together. I'd even looked at rings twice, though I hadn't pulled the trigger yet. My business partner, Cameron, had been with me since year 2. He handled the financial side, contracts, invoicing, relationships with suppliers. I handled operations. We balanced each other. He was quieter than me, more methodical, but we trusted each other. At least, I thought we did. It was a Thursday afternoon in late September when everything started unraveling, though I didn't know it yet. Update 1. I was at a job site in Lakewood when my phone buzzed. An email notification. I almost ignored it. I get hundreds a day, but something about the subject line caught my eye. Reservation confirmation, Starlight Ridge Resort and Spa. I didn't make any reservation. I opened it. Guest name, Lindsay Hartwell and Cameron Pierce. Check-in, September 28th. Check-out, October 1st. Room type, romantic couples suite with mountain view. My stomach dropped. I read it 3 times. Then I checked the email address. It had been sent to my business account, the one Cameron and I shared for company expenses. He must have used the company card and forgotten to switch the notification email. I stood there in the middle of a half-framed house, dust in the air, the sound of nail guns popping in the distance, and I couldn't move. My hands were shaking. One of the framers, Miguel, walked past me carrying a stack of 2x4s and asked if I was okay. I just nodded and walked outside. The September air was cool, but I felt hot, feverish, like my skin was burning from the inside out. Lindsay had told me 4 days ago that she was going to visit her sister in Albuquerque this weekend. Her sister, Vanessa, had just had a baby, and Lindsay said she wanted to help out. She'd shown me pictures of the baby on FaceTime. Little Ethan, barely a week old. I'd even driven her to the airport Wednesday morning. I watched her walk through security with a carry-on and a smile. She'd turned back once, blown me a kiss. Except Starlight Ridge was 2 hours outside Denver. In the mountains. A luxury couples resort. I pulled up their website on my phone. Champagne on arrival. Private hot tubs. Couples massages. Rekindle your romance, plastered across every page. I didn't call her. I didn't call him. I didn't scream or break anything. I just forwarded the email to our group chat. The one with all our mutual friends. 8 people total. People who knew both Lindsay and Cameron. People we'd had dinners with, gone on trips with, celebrated birthdays with. I added one line. Guess I'm out of the loop on this one. Then I put my phone in my pocket and went back to work. Within 20 minutes, my phone was exploding. Braden. Dude, what the hell is this? Ash. Are you serious right now? Simone. Andrew, are you okay? Jordan. Wait, is this real? Kieran. I'm calling you right now. Paige. Andrew, please pick up. I didn't respond to any of them. I turned off my notifications and finished the site walk. I reviewed the drywall installation. I talked to the electrician about outlet placement. I argued with the plumber about pipe routing for 15 minutes. I did my job, because if I stopped moving, I'd have to think, and I wasn't ready for that yet. By the time I got back to my truck, I had 36 missed calls. 12 from Lindsay, 8 from Cameron, the rest from friends. I drove home in silence. The radio was off. My mind was blank. Or maybe it was too full, and everything just canceled out into white noise. Update 2. That night, I sat in my living room with a beer I didn't drink and stared at my phone. Lindsay had left me 11 voicemails. I listened to the first one. Andrew, what the fuck? Why would you send that to everyone? Call me back. This isn't, just call me. Her voice was panicked. Angry. Not apologetic. The second voicemail was Cameron. Hey man. I think there's been a misunderstanding. Can we talk? Just call me when you get this. A misunderstanding. I laughed. Actually laughed out loud in my empty living room. A misunderstanding. Like he'd accidentally booked a romantic getaway with my girlfriend. The third voicemail was Lindsay again. Andrew, please. You don't understand. I can explain everything. Just please call me back. I deleted the rest without listening. Around 10 p.m., Braden showed up at my door. He didn't knock. He just used the spare key I'd given him years ago and walked in. He didn't ask if he could come in. He just walked past me, grabbed 2 beers from my fridge, and sat down on my couch. You gonna tell me what's going on? Or do I have to guess? He said. I think it's pretty clear, I said. You think they're sleeping together. I don't think anything. I know they booked a romantic couple's suite at a resort while she told me she was visiting her sister. Braden took a long drink. He's known me since college. We'd been roommates, survived terrible jobs together, watched each other's lives take shape. He knew when to push and when to just sit. Have you talked to her? He finally asked. No. You should. Why? I looked at him. So she can lie to my face? So she can tell me it's not what it looks like? So Cameron can feed me some bullshit about how they're just friends and I'm overreacting? I'm not interested. Andrew. I forwarded the email, Braden. Everyone knows. If she wants to explain, she can explain to all of them. I'm done being the idiot who doesn't see what's right in front of him. He didn't argue. He just stayed. We didn't talk much after that. We watched a game I didn't care about and drank until I felt numb enough to sleep. He crashed on my couch. I found him there in the morning, still in his clothes, snoring softly. Friday passed in a blur. I went to work. I ignored calls. I had a meeting with a new client about a residential addition and somehow managed to sound professional and competent. Inside, I felt like I was made of glass. Saturday was worse. The silence was too loud. I cleaned my apartment. I went to the gym. I sat in my car in the parking lot afterward and just stared at nothing for 40 minutes. Simone texted me. We're all here for you. Whatever you need. Ash sent. Want to grab drinks tonight? Jordan. Cameron's a piece of shit. I never liked him anyway. I didn't respond to anyone. I didn't want pity. I didn't want to rehash it. I didn't want to hear that I deserved better or that she wasn't worth it. I just wanted silence. Sunday morning, I woke up to pounding on my door. It was 8 a.m. I stumbled out of bed, half asleep, and opened it. Lindsay was standing there. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her hair was messy, pulled back in a tangled ponytail. She was wearing sweatpants and an old hoodie, one of mine, actually, that she'd claimed months ago. And in her hands, she was holding a laptop. We need to talk, she said. Her voice cracked. Please. I didn't move. I just stood there in my doorway in boxers and a t-shirt, looking at her like she was a stranger. Andrew, please. I know how it looks. I know what you think. But you have to let me explain. Explain what? I said. My voice was flat. Dead. Explain why you lied to me. Explain why you're fucking my business partner. I'm not sleeping with Cameron, she said. I laughed. I actually laughed. Right. You just booked a romantic couple's suite with him for fun. It wasn't like that. Andrew, please. Just listen to me. 5 minutes. If you still want me to leave after that, I'll go. I swear. Something in her voice made me pause. She looked wrecked. Desperate. Her hands were shaking so badly the laptop was rattling. And part of me, some stupid, hopeful part, wanted to believe her. I stepped aside. She walked in. Update 3. She sat on my couch and opened the laptop. Her hands were still shaking. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. I need to show you something, she said. I stayed standing, arms crossed. Go ahead. She turned the screen toward me. It was an email thread between her and someone named Glenn Forrester. The emails went back 6 weeks. Dozens of them. Who's Glenn Forrester? I asked. He's an investigator, she said. A private investigator. I hired him 6 weeks ago. I stared at her. Why? She took a breath. Because I thought Cameron was stealing from the company. The words didn't register at first. I just blinked. What? I thought he was embezzling Andrew. I didn't have proof. I didn't want to accuse him without being sure. So I hired someone to look into it. She scrolled through the emails. Messages about financial discrepancies. Highlighted sections of bank records. Transfers to accounts I'd never seen. Shell companies with names I didn't recognize. I noticed it by accident, she said. Remember in July, when we all went to that barbecue at Karen's place? Cameron was showing me some photos on his phone, and a notification popped up. A bank transfer notification. For $18,000. I asked him about it casually, like, "Oh, big transfer, what's that for?" And he got really weird, really defensive. He said it was personal and changed the subject. I remembered that barbecue. Cameron had seemed off that day. Quiet. Distracted. After that, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Lindsay continued. So I started paying attention. Little things. The way he'd get tense when you mentioned finances. How he always insisted on handling the books alone. How he'd changed the company account passwords and said it was for security, but he never gave you the new ones. He said it was standard practice. I said weakly. I know. And maybe it is. But combined with everything else, I had a bad feeling. So I hired Glenn. She pulled up another screen. Bank statements. Forged invoices. Payments to companies that didn't exist. Wire transfers to offshore accounts. We've been building a case for weeks, she said. But Cameron's careful. Really careful. Everything's hidden behind layers. Fake vendors, altered invoices, payments routed through multiple accounts. Glenn said we needed access to his personal records. His office computer. His files at home. But Cameron never leaves anything unsecured. So what does this have to do with the resort? I asked. She looked at me. We needed to get him away. Distracted. Somewhere he'd feel safe, off guard. Glenn suggested we create a situation where Cameron would let his guard down completely. So I told Cameron I needed to talk to him about something personal. My chest tightened. What did you tell him? I told him I was having doubts. About us. About you and me. I said I was confused, that I needed time away to think. And I asked if he'd come with me. Just as a friend. Someone I could trust. The words hit me like a physical blow. You told him you were having doubts about me? I lied, Andrew. Her voice broke. I lied to him so he'd go. So he'd think he had my trust. So he'd be away from his office, from his computer, from everything. And it worked. While we were at the resort, while he thought I was vulnerable, while he thought I was confiding in him, Glenn was in his office. Copying files. Going through everything. She pulled up another screen. More documents. More evidence. Cameron's stolen over $200,000 from your business, she said quietly. He's been doing it for almost 2 years. And I have proof. The room tilted. My vision blurred. I sat down hard on the chair across from her. I don't know how long I stared at that screen. The numbers blurred together. Dates. Transactions. Company names that meant nothing to me. Why didn't you tell me? I finally said. My voice sounded distant, like it belonged to someone else. Because I wasn't sure at first, she said. I had suspicions. Bad feelings. But that's not enough. And if I was wrong, if I told you and I was wrong, I'd have destroyed your partnership over nothing. I'd have made you distrust someone you'd built a business with. Someone you considered a friend. And if you were right, then I needed proof. Real, concrete proof. Not just gut feelings. If I'd told you too early and you confronted him, he'd have covered his tracks. Moved the money. Disappeared. We'd have lost everything. So you let me think you were cheating on me. Her face crumpled. Fresh tears spilled down her cheeks. I didn't know you'd see the email. Cameron used the company card. I didn't think the confirmation would go to you. I thought it would just go to him. And when you forwarded it to everyone, I panicked. I couldn't explain without tipping Cameron off. If he knew we were onto him, he'd run. He'd move the money. Everything Glenn and I had worked for would be gone. So you just let me sit here thinking. My voice cracked. I couldn't finish. I know. She was sobbing now. I know, Andrew. And I'm so sorry. But I had to finish this. I had to get the proof. Glenn said we were close, that we just needed 2 more days. 2 more days, and we'd have everything we needed to bury him. I couldn't risk it. I couldn't risk losing this. She handed me a USB drive. Everything's on here, she said. Bank records. Emails. Transaction logs. Forged documents. Glenn's full report. Enough to press charges. Enough to get your money back. Enough to put him away. I held the drive in my hand. It was small. Light. It felt like nothing. But it contained the destruction of my entire partnership. There's more, Lindsay said quietly. I looked up at her. Cameron has a girlfriend. In California. San Diego. Her name is Bethany. He's been using your money to support her. He bought her a condo. A car. He's been flying out there twice a month. She has no idea about you or the business. She thinks he's a freelance consultant. I felt sick. I'm sorry, Lindsay whispered. I'm so sorry. Final update. I spent the next 3 days with a lawyer and a forensic accountant. We went through everything on that USB drive. Every transaction. Every email. Every forged document. Lindsay was right. Cameron had been siphoning money for 26 months. It started small, 500 here, 1,000 there, amounts small enough that they'd get lost in the shuffle of a busy construction business. But as he got more confident, the amounts grew. 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 at a time. He'd created fake vendor accounts, inflated invoices from real suppliers, and pocketed the difference. Rerouted payments to shell companies he controlled. The forensic accountant said it was sophisticated. Well planned. The work of someone who knew exactly what they were doing. The money went to his life in San Diego. The condo. The car. Flights. Dinners. A whole second existence I knew nothing about. I confronted him on Wednesday. In our office. With my lawyer present. Cameron walked in at 9 a.m. like it was a normal day. He had coffee in his hand. He smiled when he saw me. Hey man. Good to see you. We need to go over the Henderson contract. Sit down, I said. His smile faltered. He looked at the lawyer. What's going on? Sit down, Cameron. He sat. I slid a folder across the desk. He opened it. His face went white. You want to explain this? I said. He stared at the papers. Bank statements. Wire transfers. His name on accounts I'd never authorized. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he closed the folder. I guess you figured it out, he said. That was it. No excuses. No explanations. No remorse. 2 years, I said. 2 years you stole from me. From this company. From everything we built. It was never yours alone, he said quietly. I built this too. With my money. Money you stole. He didn't respond. Was any of it real? I asked. Any of our partnership? Our friendship? He looked at me. His eyes were flat. Empty. Does it matter? My lawyer cleared his throat. Mr. Pierce, I'm advising you that we'll be pressing charges. Grand theft. Embezzlement. Wire fraud. The evidence is substantial. Cameron nodded slowly. I figured. He was arrested 2 days later. The district attorney called it one of the cleanest embezzlement cases they'd seen. Thanks to Glenn's work, everything was documented. Every transaction. Every lie. Cameron took a plea deal. 3 years. Restitution. His assets were seized. The condo in San Diego. The car. His bank accounts. I got most of the money back. Not all of it. Some had been spent, dissipated into a lifestyle that no longer existed. But enough. Enough to stabilize the business. Enough to move forward. Lindsay and I didn't talk for a week after that first conversation. I needed space. I needed to process everything. The betrayal, the deception, the fact that she'd been protecting me the whole time, even though it destroyed me. When we finally sat down again, it was at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. She looked exhausted. I probably did too. I need to ask you something, I said. And I need you to be honest. Okay. Did you ever actually doubt us? Even for a second? She looked me in the eyes. No. Not for a second. Not ever. Then why tell Cameron that? Because it was the only thing that would make him believe me. The only way he'd let his guard down completely. If I'd said anything else, if I'd made up some other excuse to get him away, he'd have been suspicious. But this? A woman having doubts about her relationship, needing space, confiding in a friend? That's believable. That's human. It almost destroyed us. I know. Tears filled her eyes. I know, Andrew. And if I could go back, I don't know if I'd do it differently. Because we needed that evidence. We needed to stop him. But I also never want to hurt you like that again. Ever. We're still together. It's not perfect. There's still a scar there. Trust that was cracked and had to be rebuilt brick by brick. But we're working on it. She earned my trust back, piece by piece. And I learned to listen, even when every instinct told me to walk away. We moved in together in November. Got engaged in January. The ring I'd looked at twice finally found its way to her finger. Cameron's in prison. I bought him out of the company for pennies on the dollar. I restructured everything. Hired new people. Implemented new financial controls. The business is stronger now than it ever was. Bethany, his girlfriend in San Diego, left him the day she found out. She called me once, apologizing through tears for something that wasn't her fault. She moved back to Texas. I hope she's doing okay. Sometimes I think about that email. That stupid, careless mistake that almost cost me everything. And I think about how close I came to walking away from the best thing in my life because I was too hurt to listen. I don't know if I'd do anything differently. Maybe I'd have waited. Maybe I'd have asked questions first. But I also think some betrayals are so deep, so visceral, that logic doesn't apply. You just react. You just survive. And sometimes, the person you think betrayed you is actually the one saving you. Edit 1. A lot of people are asking why Lindsay didn't just tell me from the start. Honestly, I've asked her the same thing 100 times. Her answer is always the same. She didn't want to hurt me with suspicions if she was wrong, and she didn't want Cameron to catch on if she was right. I get it now. I don't love it, but I get it. Edit 2. For those wondering, yes, Glenn Forrester is a real private investigator. He's based in Denver and specializes in corporate fraud. Lindsay paid him out of her own pocket, almost $12,000. I've since reimbursed her, though she didn't ask. Edit 3. Someone asked what happened at the resort. Lindsay said Cameron spent most of the time trying to convince her to leave me, telling her I didn't appreciate her, that she deserved better, that he could give her a better life. She played along, let him think he was making progress. Meanwhile, Glenn was copying 2 years' worth of files from his office. Justice is weird sometimes.